What's up, guys? Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Justin Block, for those of you who don't know me. And for work, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm an investor, and recently was a part of a family business which we sold for the second time back in April. And our company was a large flavor and ingredient manufacturer, and we sold a lot of dairy products, sauces, all that kind of stuff to big restaurant chains and other manufacturers. So if you've had food at a restaurant chain or you've bought something from the grocery store in this country, in the United States, you've probably eaten our product before, which is cool to say. And in this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about what I learned through the sale process, what I've been up to lately, and what this channel is all about. And so overall, my channel is going to be really about business and personal development and how both of those integrate. And so I wanted to talk about the sale process a little bit, what I learned from the actual some of the tactical stuff from like actually selling the business with a buyer, and what I learned there, and then some of the, I guess, identity mindset stuff, which I'll talk about after as well. And so this is our second time selling our company, and so through this process, I learned a few things and saw it in real time. So this isn't in any particular order either, but just things that I think are important if you're an entrepreneur looking to sell your company, and things that you should be having top of mind that you should focus on. And so number one, when you're looking to sell your business, is have a great management team in place. Assuming you're going to either exit your business completely or you're going to take a lesser role, and regardless if you're going to stick in your role, I think that you need to have a really, really good team in place, because when a buyer comes in, obviously they're looking at who's running the business, and because that's what business is at the end of the day. It's just people. And if you have great people, I think you're going to have a great business. And depending on the buyer, I think that matters a little bit too. I won't go too in depth there, but if you're a strategic buyer, they're probably going to want to place some of their people in. If they're a private equity buyer or a private buyer, they might want to keep the management team in place. So regardless, I think it's necessary. But yeah, in our business, we had a lot of different channels, a lot of different, people working in the business, but the people who are running it were, everyone matters, obviously, but the people who are really running it, that's what a lot of these buyers are focused on. So make sure your head of marketing is great, your head of finance is great. In our business, head of R&D, innovation, supply chain, quality, sales, all that kind of stuff. These people are going to be really, really integral in the sale process, and the buyer is going to want to get to know them because they might be working with them very soon. So focus on those people. Don't, in a way, you're working yourself out of a job. Obviously, you're still going to be necessary, but you need to work yourself out of a job, assuming, again, you're going to have a complete exit or take a lesser role, or even stick in your role for a year or two before they transition. So number one is that team. Number two, the buyer is really going to be looking for a strong path to growth, because obviously they're going to buy your business. Let's say they buy your business for 10 million bucks. They want to see how they can get to 15, 20, 25, 30 in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 plus years. And so they want to see how you're going to improve your sales, improve your margins, lower your cost, get more customers, improve all those metrics with current customers, with new product innovations, all of these little things that you focus on in the business. They're gonna want those metrics, like down to the raw material, to how you buy it, to how you, again, our business, how you manufacture it, to how you sell it. They're gonna want to see that whole process of how you buy to how you sell, and how we can constantly improve those numbers. And so I think, again, depending on the buyer, they're going to judge these differently. But I think a lot of buyers definitely want to see, hey, a path to growth, and like, I'm investing, I'm going to pay you. Again, it depends on what your business is trade for, but I'm going to pay you 5, 10, 20 times what you're doing now. I'm going to need to see that path to growth. So in your numbers, have that clear as day, have a really, really good path. And I think a lot of businesses, they might have years like this. Most buyers are going to want to see a path like this, which I don't think is the most realistic thing, but I think having those numbers and a path to growth is really, really important. So even before you go to sell your company, I think a good question to ask yourself would be, what would a buyer do in my situation? If they were to buy my company today, what would they do within the business? What would they change over? What would they focus on? And I think if you can ask yourself that question of what would they focus on, it's probably a few things. It's my team. It's, where am I really going to grow? Say my mix of business is, 60-40, but I got better margins at the 40%. Like, let's go focus on the 40% and not focus as much on the 60%. Let's go grow this side of the business. And so they're going to talk about and ask you those kind of questions. So I think those are really, really important things to know and to focus on. And the last thing I would say is just more from a emotional standpoint and managing your emotions is it's going to be stressful. It's going to be uncertain. It's going to be stressful for you as the owner, the management team. I think just giving yourself some grace and knowing like, hey, every day is going to be different. Like it's going to require a lot of work. And I think if you can give yourself permission, just to give yourself some grace and maybe even give yourself some time just to relax, whatever you got to do just to make yourself enjoy the process more and be more present, because you're going to overthink things. At least I did, and worry about some stuff. But as you go through this process, you're going to be talking with a lot of different people, meeting a lot of different people, and you still got to run your business day to day. So it's like you're going to sell the company and you're running it day to day. So now you just had one job. You basically have two jobs now. And so it's just a lot of work. And so I learned that. I saw it firsthand. And I think it can be a really stressful process if you let it, but I think it can also be a super rewarding process. And so those are just three things that I think are top of mind if you are an entrepreneur and looking to sell your company one day. And another thing when we sold is, I guess I got this question a lot, was like, how do you feel? Like, what was it like? And so for me, it was bittersweet for sure, because our business was a family business. It's been in the family for a long time. It was something that I grew up with. I was attached to as well. And being there for most of my life, and then officially in it for the last 6-7 years, it was it's something that you really, really care about. So it was even like the people there, like to not be working with the people every day, like those people, you see them most of your life. Like you're in the office 9 to 5, 5 days a week. Like you see them more than your family sometimes. So I think it's really important, at least for me, was to work with people that you enjoyed. And I did enjoy that. And so that's bittersweet to not see them anymore, to not have that communication. I think, again, from the business standpoint of like not having that asset anymore, it's an identity shift. And so I remember talking with one of my buddies. This was probably about a year pre-sale, before we sold the company. And I knew we were going to sell it probably in the next year. And he was like, that's a big identity shift for you. Like, what are you going to do about it? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, you have this family business. It's been a part of you your whole life. Like, it's a part of who you are. Like, how are you going to deal with that when it's there? And so he made me start thinking about how I see myself. And I think that's really, really important, because there's a lot of examples out there, and I'm not saying it's wrong or bad, but there's a lot of examples out there of business owners who do sell their companies, and they do get depressed, they do get sad, they do feel lost, they do kill themselves. It's crazy. And so I think that stems from the identity issue of like, who really are you and how do you see yourself? And so when I was talking with my buddy, he started making me think, and I worked on that with a few coaches of mine, myself, and because when people ask you who you are and what you do, at least in the Western culture, people will say like, oh, I'm an entrepreneur. Like, I own this business, I do this thing. And that's what you do. That's not who you are. And so I think as a business owner, if you can attach your identity with things that are more internal, and so it doesn't matter what goes on externally, as long as your values are aligned internally and that's how you see yourself, you're allowed to be a lot more present. And I think things just go over better, because you're not going to have to rely on the external circumstance. So if you see yourself as a business owner, but you sell your business and you no longer own the business, like, you might feel lost. Like, who am I? But if you see yourself as a learner, as an experimenter, and as idea generator, as a dream giver, those are things that are internal to you. So no matter what's going on within the world, you can overcome the circumstance. Like, you're bigger than the circumstance, and you have that identity within yourself, and your values are aligned, your identity is aligned, your actions are aligned. And so I think you'll be that much more fulfilled. And so I think that's something super, super important. So I credit my buddy to, bringing that up for me. And I think it's something really, really important, because your identity is more important than your income. I think your alignment's more important than the achievements you'll make. Like, money's just an amplifier of who you are. And it's cool to see. I love entrepreneurship. I love all these business successes, but I think it's important. And I don't think this is stuff we're taught in school. I don't think they'll teach you this stuff in an MBA class. I mean, I never did my MBA, but I don't think a lot of entrepreneurs talk about this stuff. So I think regardless if you still own a business or you are selling your business, I think you should do some identity work. And for me, it's been some of the most important work I've ever done, because it's helped me get to know myself more, which I think made me a better entrepreneur. I think it makes me a better version of myself. And so this is the kind of stuff I like to talk about. This is the kind of stuff that's going to be on this channel. And, if you like this kind of stuff, stick around. And so I'll be doing more of this. I'll be making more videos. I got a lot of cool projects I'm working on that I'm not going to announce just yet, probably here in the next few months. And so you'll be seeing more of this kind of stuff from me. I'll be posting a lot more online. So excited to share my learnings, what I'm learning on, or what I'm working on now. And yeah, I've learned from a lot of really cool people too. So I'm very blessed that I feel like 95% of the reason why I'm here is because of who I've learned from, and 5% I'll give myself credit because I've done the work. But I've learned from some amazing people, and I wish they shared and gave back more too. And so this is my version of doing that. Like if I can be a little piece of what's been done for me, that's what I want to be for some of you guys. So again, I appreciate y'all taking the time if you made it this far, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next one. Peace.